Hi everyone, it's Miss Dragonfly, the relationship whisperer, back again. Welcome back to my channel where we discuss all things relationships with the aim to make marriage great again. Now, this is a video I've come across from Patrick David of Valuetainment, where he discusses high value men. Look, everyone wants a high value partner, whether or not a man looking for a high value woman or a woman looking for a high value man. They're called high value for that very reason. They are seen as, well, gold standard and where a lot of people are looking for as a partner. And for women, often the times that is an alpha male. No matter what women say, 90% of women want the top 10% of men. And the top 10% of men are the high value men. So let's hear it straight from a man, Patrick, what he thinks a high value man is.
Let's go through 10 different things on how high value men are. Number one, high valued men have many options. You are not the only option. They have a lot of options. They generally could be talking to 4, 5, 6, 7 different women at the same time. This doesn't mean they're being promiscuous with everybody, but they have a lot of options. It's tough to find high valued men. High valued men are very, very attractive. It's like the hottest girl in high school. How many men were chasing her? High valued man, 28 years old, 26 years old, 35 years old. A lot of women are chasing him as well.
He's not wrong there. High value men, as you would expect, because 90% of women want him, is in hot demand. So because he's in hot demand and so many women want him, obviously he's going to have a lot of choices. And, you know, you're not the only game in town or the only option that he has to pick from. So you have to know that straight off. And it's just like something of a lot of value, you know, in an auction. Like, a lot of people bid and keep bidding the price higher and higher because they know the value of certain things. Why are things more expensive than others? Simply, often the times it's demand and supply. And when you think 90% of women want this 10% of men, limited supply, high demand, so obviously he's going to have a lot of options. So you're right there, Patrick. Now let's see what the next point is.
And these are not desperate men. They have a lot of options. The last thing you're going to feel from is desperation. So if you miss that 22-year-old guy that was all over you, clinging on you, you're not going to get it from these types of men. If you want that, they're out there. If you want something like this, you're probably not going to get that from them.
Another obvious point, following from the first one, they're popular. They're popular, they've got lots of choices, they're wanted, and so obviously they're not going to be desperate. And also because they're men, they don't have... And also because they're men, they're not under the same biological constraints that women have, the same time constraints as the same biological women. So they can also, on top of being in high demand, they can take their time far more than women to be satisfied with choosing the right one. So they can afford to be picky, in other words. Let's see what the next point is.
Number 3, this is a tough one to embrace. Their marketability and their value is just going to go up. The more they age, the more they succeed, the more they win, their marketability and value is going to keep going up. So you just got to keep that part in mind. There's not going to be declining. There's just constantly going to be increasing. The better they get, the wiser they get, the more they succeed.
Now he's right again, because one of the features of high value men is that they are wealthy or they bring in a lot of money, you know. So as with everyone, as your career progresses or your business progresses, you start accumulating more and more money and more wealth. And so because of that, his value is obviously going to keep going up and up and up. Because obviously a man with more money is more desirable than the man with less money in terms of market value to a woman seeking a husband to settle down with and build a family with. That is the obvious truth. It's uncomfortable truth, but that is biology. Okay? And if we want to get somewhere, anywhere in life, we have to work with reality. And that's reality. All right, let's look at his next point.
Number 4, they don't chase, they attract. So meaning they don't mind courting because they want that. They want to court, they want to go through that process, but they're not chasers. So the whole thing of, let me do this 3 calls. He did this, I can't call him back, I can't pick up. If he does this, they don't play the chasing game. They're constantly attracting good people in their lives. They're not turned on by the game.
Yep, I agree with that point. Obviously, because they're high value, they're in demand, they don't need to do the chase. So they don't need to play games then. So none of that thing that a lot of women, especially the young women, are familiar with, playing games like they're saying, I'm going to play hard to get. I'm not going to call him this time because he hasn't called me such and such time. Or he's called me. Well, I've called him before, so I won't call him again. It's his turn to call. Or that is little things or these little mind games. And with high value men, they're busy. That's why they succeed, because they work. Then their work is very busy. That's how they're able to get to the level that they are. And because of that, they don't have time for these games, even if they want to play them. So no, you can't muck around with high value men and playing these games that you normally do. It won't work. Because you know what? There's someone else, might say, no, I'm not playing that. Oh, I can't be bothered with that. This other girl looks nice. Maybe I'll give her a call. Let's see what the next point is.
Number 5, they're typically very confident. This doesn't mean they don't have any insecurities. This doesn't mean they walk on water. This doesn't mean they don't have any anxieties or different things like that. They may never share it with you, but you're going to get a feeling being around them that they're very, very confident. Why? Because to get that level of natural confidence takes years and years of hours to put into it, to believe you are valuable, that you produce that type of confidence.
Yes, of course, a man that has succeeded and been at that level is going to be confident. One, he had to have that confidence to get where he has. And secondly, to maintain it at that level, going to be a confident man. Not because he's arrogant or anything. And as Patrick said, he's built that up over a number of years along with his business or his career. So these are confident men. Let's see what the next point is.
Number 6, they take care of their body. This doesn't mean they're all bodybuilders with 6-packs, but generally a high-value man, they exercise, they have a decent diet, they don't fool around when it comes down to that. Doesn't mean it's perfection, but they do take care of their body, so they expect their women to also take care of their body.
Yep, taking care of your body. Look, someone that has managed to get at that level has a certain level of, well, I say intelligence, and that they would, and also discipline as well. They've managed to have a confidence, intelligence, and enough discipline to get to that level. They're going to be disciplined with their bodies as well. So they'll also be quite rational people and saying, you've got to look after your body as well. I'm saying, so going to the gym so that you can continue being able to have the health to continue to do what he does. These, understandably, is likely to be in high pressure situations in terms of work-wise, and you have to be able to take it. Eat well, exercise well, and because of that, like I said, he wouldn't necessarily have a 6-pack or being a buff bodybuilder type of person, but if he's taking that amount of care of himself, obviously he'll expect his partner to be at least the same level as well in terms of taking care of herself, her health, her appearance as well. It doesn't necessarily have to be a supermodel, but being conscious enough of your presentation, your social intelligence to take care of your appearance, and also, be conscientious and have that intelligence as well, and discipline. Let's look at the next point.
They're not clingy. They're not constantly seeking your approval. And some want that. Some want their men to constantly be seeking their approval. You're generally not going to get a lot of that from a high value.
Pretty obvious point because they're already confident, so they're not going to be needy. They're not going to be seeking for your approval because they have the confidence, firstly, that they've made correct decisions and confidence in themselves because they would have had to have confidence to get where they are and maintain it, and that they've had a track history of making correct decisions. So they're pretty okay. So he's correct. They won't be needy. Let's look at the next point.
Number 8, they have life goals. They're going places. They have a vision. They want to go out there and do something big. So if you are expecting this person to be at home at 5 o'clock every night because that's what your dad did, the question you have to ask yourself is, you may love your dad, but was your dad a high-value man? If the answer is no, he was just a good man, it's very different than a high-value man that's got big goals in their lives that they're in the hunt with. You can't say, well, I want him to be like my dad and be home at 5 o'clock, but I want him to be thinking big. There's a big conflict there. You have to understand that part.
Okay, completely valid point. They're going to be thinking big. Well, they have thought big, which is why they were able to achieve what they had with that vision in mind. So yes, they're not going to be the standard person that works 9 to 5 and then come home, because if they had done that, they would not have gotten where they were to begin with. So being with a high value man, you've got to expect that their lifestyle is not going to be your stock standard, not the same as a standard average guy. So next one.
Number 9, they take responsibility. If they're going to screw up, they're going to take responsibility. If this is a real man that's a real leader with the right character, they take responsibility when they screw things up, and they'll generally.
Okay, yep. They'll take responsibility when they screw up. And they would have had to take responsibility to have gotten where they were. You know, you don't climb up the corporate ladder in your career without taking responsibility. And obviously, if he's done business, if he's doing his own business, oh my goodness, everything that you do and you screw up, it falls on you. You cannot blame anyone else and you have to deal with it. So he'll be used to that. And because of that, yep, he would take responsibility. If he's done it, if he's made the mistakes, the screw ups in anything else, he'll take responsibility and not try to hide it or pass it on to someone else, blame someone else, so to speak. So let's look at the last one.
Last but not least, you have to know when you do become a high-value man, you've already been through a lot of different relationships. You know the game. You see the signs. They understand certain red flags. Yeah, I don't know about this. And they know when you're faking it or acting too much to make sure you seem perfect. They've been through that as well. So they're not turned on by those games. They know the game. They understand the game. They play the game. They just want to retire away from the game because they want to have a family. They have bigger plans with a person that they want to run with. So understand that part, that they're very clear about how the game goes. So now, before I get into the 20 rules of young women when it comes down to dating high-value men, you got to know a couple things. There's different places that we meet people nowadays, right? And it's very different than when it was in year 2000 or 1995. Today, there's Tinder and Bumble, there's bars and clubs, there's business where you work at, through friends and church, right? Now, there's a statistic that came out talking about what type of percentages of a relationship and marriages work out the most. Here's what it said on a study they did based on 2,000 different people. The article is titled, Relative Strangers, The Importance of Social Capital for Marriage. The study found that 12% of couples who meet online get divorced within the first 3 years of marriage compared to 2% of couples who meet through friends and family. And after 7 years, these statistics are roughly 17% and 10%. So now, the reason why this is important as well is to know when it's online dating, there's only so much a person can learn about you, you know? If it's through friends, church, different places, you're able to learn more about this person because you can ask around saying, what do you know about her? What do you know about him? What can you tell him about him? So also know where you're marketing yourself or where you're looking for. If you go into Tinder to find a husband, just know what he's looking for. You should not be surprised if he comes in asking you day one to go home with him, because Tinder is typically the expectation is one. Now, some people say, you're wrong. I met my husband on Tinder and we've been together for 6 years. I don't solve my success in life based on exceptions. There are exceptions to everything. I want higher odds of success, and the higher odds of success is if you date through Tinder and Bumble, the higher likelihood of getting a divorce is a lot higher than going through friends and other places. So just keep that part in mind.
Yep, he makes a good point there, Patrick. That, yes, look, these are seasoned men. They have a lot of not only business experience, but life experience as well. And they would have needed that life experience to be as successful as they have. So yes, they're better at picking up the fakes and the people that put the mask on. So he's right there. Generally, you can't play games or try to manipulate these types of men, these high value men, as you would an average man. So those are Patrick's ideas of what a high value man is. And I tend to agree with him as well. So he's made some very interesting points and correct points. As I say, he's straight shooter. I think those points are correct. And I agree with him. So what do you think? Let me know by leaving your comments below. And if you've enjoyed the video, then don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And for more videos on relationships and commentary, check out this video. And that's all for this segment. And until I see you next, remember to stay safe, confident, and gorgeous.